The gym fell silent as the sound of fabric tearing echoed through the space. All eyes turned toward the corner near the bleachers, where a trembling girl stood frozen, her face pale with shock. Bits of her torn shirt fluttered in the air like the last leaves of autumn. Laughter rippled from the group of girls surrounding her, sharp, cruel, and cold. No one moved, no one helped, until she did. 2 weeks earlier, the shy girl in question, Emily Carter, had walked the halls of Pine Ridge High School invisible to most. With her head always down and her voice barely above a whisper, she was the kind of girl people forgot was in the room. But that never bothered Emily. Not really. She had her books, her sketchpad, and the occasional deep conversation with her favorite teacher, Mrs. Rowe. That was enough. Except, it wasn't. Prom was coming up, and somewhere deep inside, Emily wanted more than solitude. She wanted one night, just one, where she could feel like she belonged. So, after weeks of convincing herself, she did the unthinkable. She asked someone to prom. His name was Jason Reed, popular, athletic, golden smile, and, surprisingly, kind. They shared a chemistry class, and he had once lent her a pen when hers ran out. That small gesture had meant the world to her. So when she saw him in the hallway alone, she pushed down her fear and asked him to prom, her voice shaking like a leaf in the wind. Jason blinked in surprise, hesitated, then gave her a soft smile. "I'm flattered, Emily, really, but I'm already going with someone." His voice was gentle, and he seemed sincere. But that didn't stop what came next. By the next morning, her attempt had gone viral around the school. Someone had recorded it and sent it to a group chat. It didn't take long for whispers to become laughter and for laughter to become mockery. The queen bee of Pine Ridge High, Madison Blake, and her clique turned Emily into a punchline. She really thought she had a chance with Jason. Like, she doesn't even exist, Madison scoffed to anyone who would listen. And when they did, it only fed her cruelty. Emily began to dread going to school. The halls that once ignored her now felt like a stage with eyes everywhere. Notes in her locker, snide comments in the cafeteria, cruel edits of her photo online, all of it chipped away at her already fragile confidence. But she kept quiet. She endured it, because she believed if she just waited, it would pass. It didn't. It got worse. The day of the gym incident started like any other. The class was supposed to be practicing self-defense techniques, and Emily, ever the invisible one, had been paired with a soft-spoken girl named Tara. They were quietly going through the motions when Madison strutted over, flanked by her usual entourage. With mocking sweetness, she offered to show Emily how it's really done. Before she could respond, Madison yanked at Emily's shirt under the guise of demonstrating a technique, and tore it. The gym erupted in gasps and laughter. Emily froze, her arms crossing instinctively over her chest, her face burning with humiliation. "Oops," Madison said with a fake smile. "Guess shy girls wear cheap clothes." That's when something shifted. Something inside Emily. Something buried beneath years of silence, avoidance, and hurt, snapped. She stepped back, not away, from Madison. Her hand clenched into a fist. Her breath slowed, her feet planted, her eyes locked onto Madison's in a way that made the laughter catch in the girl's throat. Then, without a word, Emily launched into a roundhouse kick. The move, practiced in private from self-defense videos she'd watched countless times, was swift, clean, and landed squarely on Madison's shoulder, knocking the shocked girl off balance. She fell back onto the mat, with a thud that silenced the room. The teacher rushed over, stunned. "Emily, what on earth?" But the silence wasn't angry. It wasn't horrified. It was reverent. No one had ever stood up to Madison. And certainly not Emily Carter. Tears welled in Emily's eyes, but she wasn't crying from shame this time. She looked at Madison, whose face was a mix of shock and fear, and said just one thing: "Don't ever touch me again." The consequences came, as they always do. Emily was sent to the office. Her parents were called. There was a disciplinary hearing. But something strange happened. Witnesses came forward, dozens of them. Students who saw what happened, students who admitted they'd watched the bullying happen for too long without stepping in. Even Jason came to her defense. "I think she was incredibly brave," he told the school board. What Madison did was assault. Emily stood up for herself when no one else would. The board didn't expel her. Madison got suspended, and for the first time, people saw Emily for who she really was, not a wallflower, not a ghost, not a target. A fighter, a survivor. Over the weeks that followed, Emily found herself changing. Not drastically, but meaningfully. She started speaking up in class. She joined the art club. She even began teaching a self-defense class on weekends with Mrs. Rose help. Tara joined. Then others. The movement grew, and though Emily never got her prom night, she got something far better, her voice. Her story would later be shared across local news and social media, framed as an inspiring message about standing up to bullies and reclaiming power. But to Emily, the moment in the gym wasn't about fame or revenge. It was about finally choosing herself. The girl they mocked for being too quiet found the loudest way to be heard, by standing tall, standing firm, and kicking back. And in doing so, she reminded everyone, never mistake kindness for weakness.